Good morning. Nature has a way of reminding us of its power, and this past weekend, Pagosa Springs, Colorado, faced a battle against the San Juan River. The usually serene and picturesque river transformed into a formidable force, challenging the very fabric of this tight-knit community. The river, usually a source of beauty, became a raging torrent, flooding homes and businesses and turning streets into canals. The water surged with an intensity that left many in shock, as familiar places were submerged under several feet of water. The weekend of October 11th and 12th, 2025, will be remembered as a time when the town's heart was truly tested. Families gathered, watching helplessly as the floodwaters encroached upon their homes, bringing with it a sense of dread and uncertainty. Alarms blared, emergency alerts buzzed, and the roar of water replaced the usual mountain quiet. The community was thrust into a state of emergency, with everyone on high alert, trying to protect what they could from the relentless waters. Residents watched helplessly as water crept to their doorsteps, carrying debris and the threat of loss. The once calm and peaceful town was now a scene of chaos, with water carrying away pieces of their lives. The Riverwalk vanished beneath the waves, and daily life ground to a halt as emergency vehicles took over the streets. The familiar paths and walkways were no longer visible, replaced by a vast expanse of water. Now, as the water recedes, the aftermath is clear. Mud and debris blanket the town, and the community faces a long road to recovery. The damage is extensive, with many homes and businesses in need of significant repairs. The people of Pagosa Springs are shifting from crisis to cleanup, showing strength and unity in the face of disaster. Volunteers have come together, working tirelessly to clear the debris and begin the process of rebuilding. Their story is one of shock, loss, and remarkable resilience. Despite the devastation, the spirit of the community remains unbroken as they support each other and look forward to a brighter future. To truly grasp the scale of this flood, you have to look at the numbers and the stories behind them. This wasn't just a heavy rain or a swollen river. It was a deluge that transformed the landscape and the lives of everyone in its path. On Saturday evening, the San Juan River crested at a staggering 12.66 feet, the third highest level ever recorded in Pagosa Springs history. For hours, the river surged with a force that few had ever witnessed, swallowing familiar landmarks and erasing the boundaries between land and water. Only the legendary floods of 1911 and 1927 reached higher. Those events have long been etched in local memory, spoken of in stories passed down through generations. Now, 2025 joins their ranks, marking this as a once-in-a-generation disaster that will shape the town's identity for years to come. The river didn't just rise, it roared past major flood stage, threatening homes, businesses, and the very heart of the community. Emergency crews worked through the night, and residents watched anxiously as the water crept ever closer to their doorsteps. By Sunday, the waters finally began to recede, dropping below major flood stage. But the sense of danger lingered in the air, as muddy debris and damaged roads served as stark reminders of how quickly life can change. This flood has forever altered the town's relationship with the San Juan River. What was once a peaceful scenic backdrop has become a force to be reckoned with, a reminder of nature's power and unpredictability. The records of the past are no longer distant stories or faded headlines. They've become part of the lived experience of this generation, connecting young and old through shared hardship and resilience. The 2025 flood is now a new benchmark, a chapter that will be retold in classrooms, at family gatherings, and in the memories of all who witnessed it. It's a story that will shape how the town prepares for the future. It's a powerful reminder that history can repeat itself, and that preparedness is never optional. The lessons learned this year will guide the community for decades, ensuring that everyone is ready for whatever comes next. Pagosa Springs now carries a new story of survival, unity, and response, a testament to the strength and spirit of its people in the face of overwhelming odds. What caused this historic flood? How did a seemingly ordinary week turn into a crisis for an entire community? It began with a rare and powerful weather event. The remnants of a tropical storm, which had traveled thousands of miles from the Pacific, collided with an atmospheric river, channeling an extraordinary amount of moisture directly into Colorado's mountains. Over just 2.5 days, Wolf Creek Pass was drenched with 6.3 inches of rain, an amount rarely seen in such a short time. The Weminuche Wilderness wasn't far behind, recording 5.6 inches, while the Pagosa Springs Airport measured 3.1 inches. These numbers shattered local records, overwhelming infrastructure, and leaving residents stunned by the sheer volume of water. The ground, already saturated from previous storms, simply couldn't absorb any more. Water rushed unchecked into creeks and the San Juan River, causing them to swell rapidly and amplifying the flood's destructive power. The region's steep mountain terrain acted like a giant funnel, channeling rainwater at incredible speed. Small streams became raging torrents, carving new paths and threatening everything in their way. With the ground behaving like a soaked sponge, even a brief shower could trigger new floods or dangerous mudslides. The risk of landslides increased, putting homes and roads in jeopardy. The National Weather Service responded quickly, extending its flood watch and issuing urgent warnings. Officials cautioned that the threat was far from over and that conditions could change at any moment. For the people of Pagosa Springs, anxiety ran high. Residents watched the skies nervously, checking river levels and hoping for a break in the relentless weather. This event is a stark reminder of how quickly conditions can escalate in the mountains, turning a peaceful landscape into a scene of chaos in just hours. Now, vigilance and preparedness have become the new normal for Pagosa Springs, as the community bands together to face an uncertain future. As the river surged, protecting lives became the top priority. Mandatory evacuations swept through low-lying neighborhoods, forcing families to leave with little notice. The Ross Aragon Community Center became a refuge, staffed by volunteers offering food, blankets, and comfort. The spirit of community shone as neighbors supported each other through uncertainty. The crisis extended beyond Pagosa Springs. Hundreds were evacuated in La Plata County as well. Regional cooperation ensured everyone had shelter and support. By Monday, evacuation orders were lifted, but caution remains as the area stays on pre-evacuation alert. Residents now face the daunting task of returning home and beginning cleanup. Recovery is underway, but the threat of renewed flooding keeps everyone vigilant. Amid chaos, first responders worked in seamless coordination to keep the community safe. Police, fire, and sheriff's departments led evacuations, closed roads, and monitored the river. CDOT quickly closed and inspected bridges, while utility crews managed power and water issues. In La Plata County, fire crews performed multiple high-water rescues, saving lives as levees broke and water surged. Local and state disaster declarations unlocked resources and streamlined the emergency response. Governor Polis's declaration brought state support and funding for recovery. This unified effort prevented injuries and deaths, showing the power of teamwork in crisis. The response was a model of government and community working hand in hand. As the river retreats, the damage is stark. Roads are caked in mud and debris, some impassable, isolating parts of the community. Many homes, especially in low-lying areas, suffered severe water damage. Some may be total losses. Parks and the Riverwalk, once community hubs, are now closed and buried under silt and debris. Cleanup and repairs will take weeks, if not months. Hidden dangers remain: contaminated wells, a boil water advisory, and a compromised public water supply. Health risks from floodwater and damaged infrastructure add to the challenge. The community faces not just visible destruction, but also invisible threats to safety. Recovery will require patience, resources, and continued vigilance. Recovery is a marathon, not a sprint. As waters recede, neighbors check on each other and begin the exhausting work of cleanup. Town crews clear roads and assess infrastructure, while the reopening of the US 160 bridge marks a hopeful milestone. Many smaller roads and bridges still need repair, and full access will take time. Homeowners face the daunting task of gutting and disinfecting their homes, often with help from volunteers. Local organizations are mobilizing to support the most vulnerable. Disaster declarations are unlocking aid, but rebuilding will be a long process. The goal, not just to restore, but to build back stronger and more resilient. Even as recovery begins, dangers persist. The San Juan River remains high and swift, with unstable banks and hidden debris. Officials urge everyone to stay away from the river and keep children and pets safe. More rain is forecast, and the saturated ground means even small storms could trigger new floods or mudslides. Public health risks remain: contaminated water, mold, and hazardous debris. Residents must follow boil water advisories and use caution during cleanup. Parks and trails along the river are closed until they're deemed safe. The desire to return to normal is strong, but safety must come first. Patience and vigilance are essential as the community navigates this fragile period. The story of Pagosa Springs is one of resilience. Shock and fear are giving way to determination and unity as the town rebuilds. This flood is a powerful lesson in preparedness. Emergency plans and go-bags are now a necessity, not a luxury. The event reminds us to respect nature's power and to plan for the unexpected. Sustainable development and smart policies are more important than ever. The bonds of community have proven stronger than any floodwater. As Pagosa Springs rebuilds, it's not just restoring buildings, but reaffirming what makes it home. The scars will remain, but so will the spirit of hope and strength. This is a lesson for us all. Resilience, preparedness, and unity are the true foundations of any community.